There we go.
Okay.
Oh, somebody make some noise in here. Yes, sir, me. It's Friday night, baby, and it's all right. Music lovers LBC. Good evening to each and every one of you, and welcome to another rendition of Music Lovers LTD, our Friday night live podcast. I hope that everybody out there is doing well. We are so glad to see you, so glad to be here. we have. We have. Are you ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready for this? I've been promoting this all week. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. This guy has been a friend of mine for quite some time, and his work ethics and his work material and the people that he's rubbed elbows with is extensive as is probably as long as the dictionary. Probably that long. Probably. I mean, he's been with each and anybody that you can think of. It's almost like a who's who. Who is this? Rob? Oh, Robin's with me. I gotta say hello to Robin. But it's almost like a who's who in this musical business. And we are so glad to finally get him on the show with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the guy that I have dubbed and I have named him Philly's Quiet Giant. That's what I've named it. And once we get into talking, you'll understand why. Because a lot of people, I'm sure, will say, well, who is he? What did he do? Where did he come from? You're going to find out some of those answers here for the next hour. But this gentleman I'll call the Quiet Giant, Mr. Johnnie Croom. My brother, how are you this evening?
All is well. All is well. All is well, man.
It's
I'm
good to have you here, man. It's good to have you. I almost had to pry you off the something to get you to come on the show here. That's because you are very unassuming. You are very quiet about what you do, and that's a good thing. But as I told you, the reason I wanted you on the show is not to blow you up, but it is to blow you up, but also to let people know what you do and who you are, because you're a very, very important factor in Philadelphia music and music period. So I am certainly glad, and I tip my hat, and I'm glad to have you here on the show. I'm glad you're
I
doing all right.
appreciate
Let's jump right on into it. Jump
I
right on into it.
appreciate it. Thanks, Ali. I really
You got
appreciate
it, my
it.
brother. You got it. Now, your credits of who you've been with, who you've worked with, and who you perform with, plus all of your musical stuff. And like I said earlier, it's like a who's who. I'm just going to run down the list and just give you guys a few people of who he's had the opportunity to work with. How about Usher? How about Miss Patti LaBelle, Jill Scott, Mr. Wayne Brady, Babyface, Mary J. Blige, the Kindred family, Gerald Levert, Glenn Jones, Chubby Checker, Betty Wright, Nile Rodgers, Chris Tucker, and Darlene Love. The list goes, those are people that he's actually worked with. Now I'm talking about the recording business where he's worked on music, the Broadway play The Wiz, performed on the American Music Awards, BET Jazz Awards with Lou Rawls. I can go on and on and on for another 10 minutes, at least, with all of these people. Johnny, tell us how this whole thing got started. How did you start playing music? Oh, before you answer that, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I've witnessed him as a sound man. I've witnessed him as a drummer. I've witnessed him as a piano player. I've witnessed what else? There's something else I witnessed you doing. Oh, as a disc jockey. Yes, as a disc jockey last summer at my party as a disc jockey. So I've witnessed him doing this thing. Johnny, tell us how all of this got started. Take us all the way back to the very beginning, if you would, please.
Okay. In terms of playing with folks, or in terms of instrumentation?
Well, let's start out with the instrumentation because I think you sort of had to start there before you got to playing with different people. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. Well, I've been playing instruments and playing music since around the fourth or fifth grade. I started playing. I started from playing guitar, and I switched guitar from guitar to drums, from drums to keyboards, and playing bass in between a lot of those things, and percussion,
Okay.
mainly the rhythm instruments. And
Okay.
I didn't do it from a genius point of view. I did it from a from the point of when I started playing, I would have people quit on me all the time. And when they would quit on me all the time, I would be so upset that I would get somebody to play the instrument that I was already playing, and I would learn another instrument, and I would play that instrument
Okay.
so that I wouldn't have to worry about somebody quitting on me. The last I guess the last person that quit on me was a drummer.
Okay.
But this was a long time ago.
Okay.
I was in like junior high school or elementary. I think junior high school and
Okay.
what have you. So, but I had a music teacher that would ask me because when I was in a junior high school playing the piano, it wasn't really a cool thing to play.
Right. Right.
We kind of
Right.
think about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe
Right.
guitar, maybe bass, maybe drums, any of those other instruments. But piano, that was nobody played piano. But anyway. I was glad that my teacher had said you need to play piano, even though I never took any piano lessons or anything like that. I just made it so that I just started listening to things, and just sat down. I have this at the time, I don't know that I have it anymore, but I had this tendency to just concentrate on something so much that I would not quit until I just had this thing, you know, straight.
Wow.
You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome, bro.
And that was in the early years of coming up. So I didn't know that I was doing what I was doing. I thought everybody did that, to tell you the truth. I didn't know.
Okay.
Um, I just turned around, and before you knew it, I just knew how to play a bunch of instruments.
Okay.
So in
Okay.
doing that, I would end up being on different things. If somebody didn't show up or whatever, I covered the instrument, and that's basically where the musical aspect of it came from in terms of me getting started.
That is awesome, brother. What great motivation. Somebody quit on you, you're gonna take their place. That is
Oh yeah,
awesome.
they
That's
quit on
great.
me over and over again, over and
That's
over
great
again.
motivation,
Yeah,
man. That is awesome motivation. All
yeah.
right. All right. Well, we got started here. I'm gonna back out and jump back in a little one. I'm gonna introduce you. Well, Restful, you already talked to her, but Restful, come on in, babe.
Yes. Johnny, what's the difference between working with a solo artist versus the groups?
Ooh, good
Uh,
question. Good question.
Let me think about that because realistically, it really depends on the artist and the group. Like for instance, some groups have powerful lead vocalists, and some groups have groups that are just a group.
Hmm.
It's really all about the group. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
it's really about being able to deal with somebody who um who just knows what they want.
Right.
That with all of this that happens in music, especially with groups, this is not rocket science. This is people dealing with people. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
People think that it's about music. It's really not. It's really about putting yourself in a position where people are comfortable with working with you. You understand what I'm
Okay.
Hmm.
saying? That
Right.
that's the biggest thing that I could say about any of this, because
Good
I've
question.
dealt I've dealt with folks that were very humble. I've dealt with folks that are very big headed. You know what I'm saying? It's just whatever the situation is somebody that you may know that's that same way. You know what I mean? You just
Mhm.
wouldn't approach them in a way that would stir things up, that wouldn't get anything done. You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Okay.
it's
Right.
basically that. It's basically that.
Very good point. I like the way you explain that, Johnny. And but before you go any further, and Restful, that was a good question. Let me before I come into Drew, let me just give us an example of a strong group, and also give us an example of a group with a strong lead that you've worked with.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Boys to Men.
Okay.
Okay.
Boys to Men, and they're a great example too. And they're a good example based off what you're talking about too, because the original Boys to Men, and even the same Boys to Men for that matter, but I'll go with the original one just to make my point. Their thing was there's nobody in the group that is egotistical. If the part
Okay.
works for you, you do the part. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying? If
Okay.
it sounds better with you singing this, you do this. We're going to support whatever this has to be to make the project right. Do you understand
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Everybody is not necessarily like that.
Yes, that's
Everybody's not
true.
necessarily like that. So I
Right.
know now I'm not going to mention any names now because I don't want to get crazy. I don't. But there's another group that this is a pretty big guy, and he's not necessarily hard to get along with, but in terms of whatever such and such is, he wants to get the credit for it. You
I got
understand what
you.
I'm saying?
Okay.
We everybody works together as a group to get it there, but he wants to get the credit. Now
Okay.
that
Okay.
he's not saying that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
He's not saying
Right.
that, but you just notice that if something is being done when it's time to do the paperwork, or when you're thinking that you should be credited for this or credited for that, it doesn't end up being that, and everybody knows what it should be.
Okay. Okay.
But this
I'm
is
not. I'm not. I'm not going to put you on the spot by deciphering what groups it are. We're going to leave that alone for right
yeah,
now.
we're gonna leave that
But
alone.
three people in the group is a hint.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not
I
even
know.
saying that. I'm not saying that. I
I
but
know.
I but
Drew,
I
come
but
on
I
in.
but I
I
will
know what.
say
I
I
know.
will
I
say
put you
though.
on. I don't want to put you in any bad light at all. But you see, I can take that. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh
can
yeah,
take it.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
can take it. Drew,
But
come on in.
I will say, Ali, in terms of going back to Boys to Men, they were probably the best group that I've ever worked with that had their eye focused on what they were doing. And it was
Okay.
amazing because they were so young. They were kids.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They were kids when you really think about it. You're talking about what, 17, 18, 19 years old,
Right.
making major decisions that put them in the positions that they are in today.
Okay. Okay.
That's people putting that star thing aside, to
Right. Right.
make the bigger picture work. So I hope
Okay.
I answered your question.
Okay. Okay. Drew, come on in.
Hey Johnny, how you doing? I'm Andrew. Funny you should mention Boys to Men because they just performed in Atlantic City over the weekend, and
Yes.
word has it they put on a pretty good show.
Mm-hmm.
Take us back. Well, first of all, I'm looking at your pedigree here, man. You've worked with some of the giants, and just to hear you say just now that Boys to Men was I guess it's safe to say was your favorite group to work with. I mean, better than Babyface, better than Michael Jackson, better than Stevie Wonder. Is it safe
Well,
to say
no.
that as far as
Okay.
professionalism?
Well, when you're speaking about these situations, all of these situations are different. I was the musical director for Boys to Men and the keyboard player for them as well. With Babyface, I toured with Babyface, and I was in the studio with Babyface. Maybe one time doing some editing and things like that. And we did a thing for Babyface for the I Am conference from which is Deanna Williams thing. I don't know if you guys remember the I Am conference.
Yes.
Are
Yes.
are you all
Yes.
familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so most everybody that I work with, most of them, everything is different. It all depends on who it is. You know.
Cool. Cool. Good question,
Mm-hmm.
Joe. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, and I keep saying I want to say so bad TV land, but it's not TV land, but it's almost like TV land. But everybody, our viewers, we're glad to have you here. Robin, we will say hello to you, and Mr. Kim Thomas want to say hello to you as well. We have a gentleman who definitely, in my opinion, I must say that fits into the legendary status, Mr. Johnnie Croom here. He has done pretty much everything. Johnny, you talked to us about how you got started.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that one of your favorite groups to work with of all time, and that's a high praise. It really is, saying that Boys to Men. Do you prefer to work with groups versus singular performance, or does it make a difference to you?
It doesn't make a difference to me. No.
Okay.
How I basically ended up with so many people that I've worked with, it was basically because I'm kind of a Swiss Army knife. You know,
Okay.
as you know, as you were just saying, I did sound, I did something at your place. I'm the Swiss Army knife of this thing. I don't wear this pride on my chest.
Right.
I don't do that. So I can be doing something as small as whatever and as big as whatever.
Okay.
For me, I thank God every day for allowing me to do something that I love to do. So
Awesome.
I'm not the pedigree. I'm not that guy. You know
I
what I'm
got you.
saying?
I got
I'm
you.
I'm definitely not that guy.
I got you. I got you. Yes, we've talked on many occasions, and especially here lately, and I know that to be a fact. I certainly hope that this is coming through, and I think that it is coming through to our listening and our watching audience. Who you are, and that's the whole thing about having you here. You're part of Black history. You're part of Black music history. You're part of Black music Philadelphia history. That's one of the. That's why you're here, and I celebrate you for being here. Restful, come on in with something, baby.
Yes. Johnny, what does musical excellence mean to you, and
Ooh,
how do you pass that on to the next generation?
Johnny, before you answer that, let me say this to you. I don't know who this young lady is because she has never come up with questions like this before. Last week, I was wondering who the heck she is. Now she's coming up with this musical excellence. Who is this woman?
Okay. How can I sum this up? Musical excellence from the perspective of an artist, or
Mhm.
musical excellence from a perspective of just playing, or musical excellence from working with someone.
Well,
All of these things, they can be quite different. I'll
mhm.
give you an example. There are things that I have to do sometimes that the excellence is at a crazy level.
Mhm.
I did a thing with that I played drums for Dionne Warwick. Crazy level. I'm doing something. Uh, well, I don't want to demote it or anything. I don't want to say that it's not as important. I will say that in terms of what excellence is in this business, is basically being able to come and do what it is that folks are hiring you to do.
Okay,
Be on point with what you're doing.
okay,
Okay.
A lot of situations are things that the kids are just, well, let me be careful with that too, because I don't want to uh from a perspective of talent, most musicians think that the talent is the excellence. It's not.
okay, okay.
It's not. The excellence is moving in ways that people expect you to move, and at levels that people expect you to be at. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, for
Yeah.
instance, when you're coming in to work with somebody, be on point with knowing what you're supposed to know.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You would be
yeah.
surprised at how so many people come on situations and they have no idea. They come figuring it out. That's not musical excellence,
Okay,
but they may be musically talented.
okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Very good
You
point.
you
Yes.
may
Very
be
good
you
point.
may be musically talented, but because you're musically talented, coming in not being prepared, or not having the wherewithal to have the respect for whatever the job is, whatever the gig is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's that's not musical excellence. I'll just say that.
Very
I,
good
I,
point.
Okay.
Good
I,
question, respect. Good
Okay.
question, Russell. If I'm not mistaken, it was Drew who 2 weeks ago, and we had Mousy, what's Mousy? Mousy Thompson from James
Yeah.
Brown. We had
Yeah.
him on, and Drew asked that same question, and he almost answered it verbatim the way that you just did. It's
mhm.
about coming to a situation, knowing and being prepared on what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on
Absolutely.
in, Drew.
Okay, John, I'm going to go back to your beginning again. Do you recall your first professional paid gig?
Yeah,
And okay, so was that with a major artist or was it a local band? I'm assuming you're from the Philadelphia area.
yeah, it was a local band. It was when I
Okay.
was. Oh, I'm sorry. You can go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to, your first professional gig with a major star. Who was that, and how did that lead to all this other star-studded list that you've worked with?
Okay. Um, my first professional gig with a major star was man, I don't even know if recall that. I recall maybe my first gig,
Before
my
or
first
after Jeffrey
gig getting
Osborne?
paid. But at the same time, the one that comes to mind that made things take off for me was probably
Hmm.
Gene Carr and Norman Connors in the
Okay.
eighties.
Ah,
In the
Okay.
eighties, yeah, I
in
Okay.
the
did it
80s.
with Gene. When you guys remember Closer Than Close.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
That just happened to be a song at that time that broke records, and I think it may have been number one or number two for a good little while. And we
Big record for
toured.
him. Yeah.
I think we toured with Jeffrey Osborne and
I
George
was going to
Benson.
ask you about that.
Yeah, I believe that. I think that was probably the first one that I remember that I could credit as such and such. It may have been something before that, that
Okay.
I played behind an artist or two or something like that. But in terms of something that that went somewhere, it would probably be that.
So it's basically Gene Carn and later Jeffrey Osborne that
Well,
springboard you to the other stars. So I was my next guy was Michael Jackson. How did you get to Michael Jackson, the
well,
biggest, greatest entertainer,
okay. Well,
probably
I
who ever
didn't.
lived?
No, I didn't. I didn't work with Michael Jackson. I was on some shows with Michael Jackson. So let me tell you how
Oh,
that. Now it's quite a few different things with that one. One, uh, we were at Michael Jackson's house at Neverland. Um, Being there, our manager Quadri Elamine was married, and he was good friends with Michael Jackson. And Michael
mhm.
Jackson allowed him to have his reception at his house. So in doing that and what have you, we had a couple situations that Mike just ended up on the same things that we were on when we were doing Boys to Men. So we did. You remember that the kiss of him and Lisa Marie at the MTV Awards. That was a
Yeah.
famous thing when he was trying to get married.
Oh yeah,
I did
yeah.
that. I did that with not with him, but we were on that same show. Uh,
Mhm.
the the American Music Awards. He was on that show with us, and maybe two or three other things. But
Hmm.
directly, I've never done anything directly with him.
Okay.
That I work with him.
Okay.
Other than the things that we did with Voice to Men.
Okay. Good
Oh,
question, Drew. Good question. Well, getting close enough to just rub next to his suit is good enough for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, I can give you some stories of Mike because
okay.
the level now you talk about moving in excellence. The level
Mm.
of his excellence. I'm not even talking about um, his performance. Everybody knows the performance. We were
Right.
doing, I don't know if it was the Grammys or the American Music Awards, or it was something, and it was something huge. Now, what ends up happening is every artist, you get about, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes on stage, and they roll your gear out,
Right.
and you do your thing, and it's a little testing of this, try that, say something on this microphone, hit this drum, let me make sure we have the keyboards, all of these normal kind of things. When it was Michael Jackson's turn, it was crazy. They cleared the stage, and you would think that the CIA or somebody was there, because over the PA system, you heard, what did they say? Um, he's 30 seconds out. The principal is 30 seconds out. He's such and such out. He's this, that, and the other out. Such and such. He's almost here. He's come down the hallway. He's this, that, and the other. And he came running out, shot right past me, ran on the stage while all of this was going on. All the production was excellent, and nobody saw anything how this guy even did all of this, how all of this production just immediately came together. And when this was at sound check, when he did
Okay.
what he did and what have you, he ran in a circle and he ran back out, and the production disappeared again. Nobody really got a chance to see that show, because that show was the Remember the Time show. And if you all remember the Time performance, he had broke his leg.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Mhm.
It
I
must
wasn't
have
aware
been
of
the
that.
next day. It must have been the next
I
day,
wasn't aware of
because
it.
because
Okay.
it wasn't
Hmm.
that day. You understand what I'm saying? So it was
Okay.
just amazing just how his whole organization moved in, as you would say, excellence.
Right.
That
Right.
Hmm.
this guy
Right.
would just walk in and all of this stuff would just be there. It was no check this, it was no try the keyboard, it was no is this working, is that working? No, it just happened, and he did it in record time, and he was gone. That it
Okay.
was one of the most amazing things I had ever been around.
Okay.
Wow, that's interesting.
Okay. He was truly a genius, truly a genius. And I
Yes.
never got the opportunity to work with him at an older age, if you will, when
Hmm.
Billie Jean and all of that stuff. I worked with him when they came to Philadelphia at the JFK. I was part of their security team at that point. And
Hmm.
I mean, he was like a little kid running around, but you could still see how musically inclined he was, at that
Yes.
point, with all the
Yes.
snaps and he was hearing this and hearing that. But
Yes.
that was with the when the Jacksons came here. That was at the
Hmm.
JFK in Philadelphia at JFK. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
yeah, you're absolutely correct on that. A lot of that I can certainly understand. Um,
Hmm.
Sandman has joined us from Detroit. My brother, how are you?
Oh,
Good to see you. Well, no, I can't see you, but good to have you here with us. But everybody say hello to Sandman,
Hey,
all the way in Detroit.
oh,
um, come on, Russell. Come on with something. Try not to stump us too much, Russell, if you don't mind.
You better stop messing with me. Johnny, what's the most important lesson that you learned from working with others that you now pass on?
Good question.
um, I would say be kind, be kind, and all that you do, because this is one business that people, and I understand, people paint pictures that they're super huge, or maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But the whole thing is, it's a kind of business that people have to view you a certain way. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
Right.
saying? In
Mm-hmm.
order to, I won't say to work, but just to get down the road or what have you. And for people who has been able to go through certain doors or do certain things and what have you, the thing that I've learned is the further you get along, the further you climb, humble yourself, be kind,
Mm.
be,
Yes, absolutely.
you know, everybody. And the other one of the other things that I really learned in this situation is it takes each of us to help all of us, but none of us are better than any of us. I don't care what we do.
Wow,
hmm. That's
Yeah.
that's
well said.
nice, man. That's well said. That's well said.
Mhm.
That's well said, my brother. Good question there, Russell. Good question. Um, I'm gonna probably steal one of Russell's questions here. Johnny, what advice would you give a youngster if they came to you or you had the opportunity to talk to them about going into this business? They're brand new, wet behind the ears. What advice would you give them?
Well, that one would be that one would be a little different, because we all talk about the music business, and the music business is not the business that we know anymore. You understand what I'm saying? The music business. This is let me back up a little bit, and I'll answer your question, but I'll answer it. from this premise. When we were coming up, Ali, and you mentioned this earlier, if you couldn't play an instrument, there was no music. Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If you couldn't play an instrument, there was no music. And let's keep it back there for a second. And as a musician, you needed another entity to promote you so that you can get down the road with your music. Some
Right.
folks call them promoters, some folks call those record companies, some folks call those booking agencies, whatever that is that will get your music down the road. They were kind of married to each other. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So today, music can be made from almost anything. And the internet, if you understand, if you have a very good understanding of social media, that's more powerful than the talent of what you're doing, because it's all about promotion. It's all about taking whatever it is that you're doing and getting it to the masses. You understand
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
from our point of view, from where we are, even everybody on the panel right now, from where we are, we don't come from that. We
Right.
come from, we did what we did, and it was somebody else's job to do the next thing. You
Right.
follow what I'm saying?
Right.
In other
Right.
words, I'm going to make the music, you put it on the record, then after the record is done, the next guy promotes it. Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Then the
Right.
next guy distributes it. You
Right.
find what I'm saying?
Right.
So from that perspective, when somebody asks me about something like that, I don't, depending on who it is, I have to steer it towards, I have to steer it in a way that they can understand what I'm saying.
Right.
You understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Because we don't live in those kinds of times anymore. We all hear about these streams. I was just on the phone with a friend of mine today, and you all probably know this as well. Millions of streams, people getting 10 million streams, 50 million streams, and getting a few $1,000s. Do
Right.
you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
so that would make me say more so, what music business? What business are
Mm-hmm.
we talking about here?
Okay.
Who's fixing that?
Right. Right.
Who's doing that? Because to keep talking to the kids about something that you're sending them to the wolves, to in a sense, to have them do something that we did, but it's not there like that.
Exactly.
So
Right.
we have to figure out a way of saying that and saying how we're going to do this to fix it so that they can have a career. The average young person who's pretty good on social media, they probably know more about the music business than any of us,
Okay.
just through
Okay.
social media. Do
Right.
you understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And not even, you don't even have to play a note.
Right.
Just
Right.
understanding that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
that's where we are with that now.
Okay.
And we need to figure out how do we do this and make money and keep it growing. And now it's getting ready to turn into AI. You all seen all the AI stuff,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
so,
Right.
and it's nothing wrong with any of these things. It's nothing wrong with it. What
Okay.
the problem is you're talking about the horse and I'm driving in a car. That's the problem. You understand what I'm saying? Now we didn't get in the car yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we see it coming. But you're still talking about the horse.
Right. Right.
That's where we are. I
Okay.
hope I answered that. I hope
Very
that.
well said, my brother. Very well said.
Yeah.
You're giving us a whole different perspective on looking at this musical situation. It really is musical business, I'll say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a whole different, and it's good. Drew, what you got, babe?
Yeah, I want to stay on that subject, Johnny. First, let me relate a story to you that a local singer around my area, was facing the frustrations. Um, she had, she's a great singer. She put out a CD, and she wrote some of the songs on the CD. But when she went to the producer, cut her tracks, recorded her, whatever. she got frustrated because he claimed songwriting credits on her album, on her song. Is that normal for a producer to claim songwriting credits or publishing or masters? What are your thoughts on that, sir?
It depends. It depends on what the producer did. It depends on what the
Okay.
producer did. If the producer is giving melodies and helping with lyrics and moving things around and stuff like that, then yes, they should have writers in that. That's absolute.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay. Yeah,
absolute.
she had a
Yes.
problem with sharing that. She was under the impression that, she puts her voice to tape to the mic and
Mhm.
she was starting to see some profits. And I tried to tell her it's not really that, cut and dry.
If
There's,
if
It
she
there's
isn't.
other things on it.
if she sang every melody exactly the way that she wrote it, and
Uh-huh.
nobody did anything else in that situation and what have you, then that's what that would be.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? A lot of people, they come in and they'll have a song about such and such, but say the second verse in the song doesn't make sense, that you have to change it, or the melody doesn't make sense, you have to
Okay.
change it, or the bridge in the song is not going anywhere.
Right.
All of these things are writers, all of those.
Okay, so the writer is responsible for coming up with the bridge, the hooks. Uh,
Yes, yes, the
okay,
writer. Yes, the
Yeah, pretty
writer is
much. Yeah.
responsible for doing all of that. The writer
Yeah.
is
okay,
responsible for doing
okay.
all of.
And
Johnny, if you don't
Drew,
mind me, huh?
Drew, let me
Yeah.
say this to you, which I'm sure you know, and just probably haven't put it in your mind. All of these producers, all of these folks are not doing the right thing. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Okay.
So, Johnny, if you don't mind me asking, how do
Mhm.
you see yourself? Are you a musician, a producer, a songwriter? I mean, I see here you own your own recording studio. How do you
Yes,
see yourself?
well, as I said before, I'm like a Swiss Army knife. I do it all. I don't
Right?
have a preference for anything. I do it all.
Okay. Any personal favorite as far as songwriting, producing?
Um, Not really. No,
Okay.
not really. No, my favorite, I guess, would be just working with people who are really easy to work with, and
Mhm.
we're all trying to get there together. You
Okay.
know, we're,
Makes
we're,
sense.
we're, we want to win.
Makes
Because
sense.
it's really about everybody. It's really it's about being in the space that you can create, that you're not really concerned with nothing but the project. You
Okay.
know, feeling good
Okay.
about the
Makes
project.
sense. Good
Okay.
question, Drew. Good question. Good question. The question, excuse me, the questions that have been coming to you tonight, Johnny, have been more or less focused and pinpoint questions, which your answers have been outstanding. And we do appreciate that, because I know that the listening and watching audience gets a kick out of knowing what you know, or at least getting a little sample of what you know. Because in the music business, if you're not in the business for real, you don't know what the hell is going on. You truly don't.
Yeah,
Do is
yeah.
buy, go to the show, see somebody sing, and then come back home and talk about it. That's pretty much it. But there's
Hmm.
intricate and moving parts in the business itself to make it interesting. Johnny, I want to put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
I know you will sweat this out, but I want to put you on the spot.
All right. Okay.
Can you turn around and give us about 10 bars on the organ? Just something nice. It doesn't have to be anything
Oh my
specific.
God.
Just give us about 10 bars if you would. Just something that
Now,
we can say we heard Johnny play.
now you get me.
Mhm.
Now you get me. I don't, I don't even know. Um, I don't know what to play. Hold on, let me put the piano up. Hold on for a second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't know you were going to do that, Allie. Hold on.
I know that, and that's the good part about this.
Let me give me one. I have to get a piano up.
All right, that's okay. We got about 15 minutes, but we'll wait till tomorrow.
Okay.
So, Johnny, you see yourself primarily as a keyboard player?
I mainly play keys and drums. That's the main two things that I do.
Okay.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are sitting at home enjoying this show, we are getting ready to watch witness history here. We're
Genius
not
at work.
opportunity to see Johnnie Croom play, but he's just going to give us a little bit, just a little sampling of what he does in his studio.
What do you want to hear, Alan?
It doesn't matter, bro. Just anything. Little
This
boogie
is
woogie, little waltz. It doesn't matter. Anything you do.
this is a little bit, this is some old TSOP.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
Leon Huff.
Keyboard sliding.
Ah, yep, yep, yep. Leon Huff. Yeah.
I don't know. That's all.
All right. All right.
So,
All
That
right.
was
I
up
was
Al.
hoping.
That was up Ollie's alley because that was one of those bop songs, you know,
Yes,
and
it was.
he was one of them famous bop dancers out there, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
if you would have
It's
told me, I would
claimed
have
to be
just went
one of the
downstairs
best
and
bop
played the
records in
piano.
the world. That's what it's claimed to be. Claimed to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. But there's another one that he does, and I have to talk to you guys about it later that I like a little bit better than that one. It's called Swing, something about swing. I forget the name of it. But anyway, I was hoping that you would go just a little longer, Johnny, because I was going to try to get Leon on speed dial and let him. Brother, I know I put you on the spot, and I just wanted to just do a little something that sort of makes this show a little memorable. And every just you being here is memorable enough. Johnny, you've done a lot. Tell us a little bit, if you would, about Johnny Gill, one of the guys that you work with and had the opportunity to be behind.
Well, I did a song on one of his albums. Actually, I got a gold record for it. That record there. Um,
Okay.
Oh,
um,
wow.
I I played on that album. Um, and trying to think what did we do with that and stuff. This was something that I did that was let me see what's this name? The Prerogative album.
Okay.
I did the Prerogative album with him, and I have a song on that album.
Oh, with
Okay.
Bobby Brown.
What's that?
With Bobby Brown?
No,
Is it?
this is Johnny Gill. It's on Johnny
Oh,
Gill's album.
John, yeah. Okay.
Provocative, not prerogative.
Okay.
Provocative.
Okay.
Provocative.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Where do you I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. Johnny, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, sir.
What plateau are you looking to ascertain before you say goodnight? Or are you looking to say goodnight?
Well, I'm not really looking to say goodnight, and I'm trying to figure out really how to flip the things that we were just talking about into the next level of what's going on, you
Okay.
know, because it's apparently it's quite difficult because from the top on down it's having this same problem. You know, nobody knows what's going to be going on, you know,
Okay.
in terms of you have the streaming, you have the AI and all of the things that happens in the business that's connected to this. Most things I for the most part, people making money with this, they're attaching their talents and their songs and things like that to other entities. You know what I'm saying? Like other commercials, live performances, whatever you can do to attach it to something that
Hmm.
the worth in your name uh, builds from that,
Okay.
from whatever that situation is. So no, all that I'm really kind of thinking about right now, Ali, to be quite honest with you, is figuring where we going now.
Okay. Okay.
Where's the music business going to be 5, 10 years down the road?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because it's challenging now. For a lot of individuals. I've been a musician all my life. I've never had a job. This is all that I've
Hmm.
ever done.
Okay.
So uh,
Okay.
um, I don't know. That's where I am with it.
Okay, it's a perplexing question. It truly is, especially for someone like yourself and some of us music lovers for real. We don't know where it's going, and the AI thing is challenging. It almost looked like we talked earlier how everybody came down on Milli Vanilli when they popped out, but look at
Yes.
what's happening now. It's
Yeah.
almost the same. It's basically the same thing. They ought to just give them their trophies back.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember being on the I think it was the Hammer tour, probably the Hammer tour. But anyway, no, it wasn't the Hammer. It was somebody's tour that we were on, and Brian McKnight was on the tour as well. I worked with Brian when we did "Let It Snow" with Boys to Men on
Okay.
Arsenio. But anyway, when Brian when he was doing his thing out there and on tour, he was doing his thing, and all of these background vocals were going on. I was sitting in the audience waiting to go on. So I'm sitting beside this one couple, and the young lady, she goes, "Wow, who's singing those vocals like that?" I don't see any singers on the stage. And the husband said, "Well, they keep people and backstage for singing parts and things like that.
Okay.
When the truth of the matter is the vocals are in the sequencer. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?"
Oh my God.
The vocals are in the sequence. Whenever you go to a show and what have you, notice it yourself. Next time you go to a show, most people don't even pay it much attention. But you go to, and I'm not saying this that it's a good or bad thing. I'm saying
Okay.
again, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Again, it's the horse in the car. You know,
Right. Right.
we're way down the road now, and I remember years ago rehearsing. I don't know if it was with Aaliyah or Boyz II Men, and we were in New York, and Janet Jackson was rehearsing across the hall, and Entertainment Tonight came in to do an interview with her, and she wasn't there, but the band was rehearsing. So they're hearing all of these background vocals jumping off, and I guess nobody was paying any attention to anything in terms of like letting them in the room or anything like that, because back
Okay.
then you didn't do that kind of stuff. But they
Right.
went in there and they saw that it was no vocals going on, and they came out, saying, "Oh my God," and that was a big thing.
Right.
But
Right.
today, nobody cares about that stuff today.
Right.
Nobody cares
Right.
about you.
Right. One of the and I'm gonna come to Russell and Drew in just a second. But one of the great movies that showed us the background stuff, and we just sort of fell in love with that, was when the Temptations and Paul got drunk on stage, and you
Mm,
had you know what I'm saying, and
mm,
and Rick was in the background singing the background music, and of course there was the theatrics like Otis said, turn the lights down on him. You know what I mean? Turn the lights down low on him and just
yeah,
let him go. But he was physically on stage, but he
yeah,
and turned his mic off. But then Ricky
yes,
was the one backstage doing the singing. That
yes,
type of thing
yes,
has made, I think, that on television has glamorized the background part, if you will. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And now
yeah.
to see that it's not happening or nobody cares about it is a little bit distressing. You think?
Well, it is in a sense, because when you think about it, Ali, we know what that is, but the next generation, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
You understand what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
Good
so
point.
from that perspective, that's how things end up being that it's not that nobody cares, literally. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
really nobody knows.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They're not
Okay.
from that pedigree.
Okay. Okay.
The newer generation, they're not from that pedigree. So when they hear something or they see something or what have you, if we were on any kind of shows when we all were coming up, and somebody started singing and all of these background vocals happen, or horns start playing and all of this kind of stuff, we would go, where's that coming from? You
Right.
know.
Right.
Well, whereas today, anything can happen, and no one ask any question, because it's basically a product. We live inside a production driven society now.
Society. Right.
You
Okay.
can create whatever you want to create,
Right.
and nobody questions anything about being able to do it on a stage or any other places or anything like that, because at the end of the day it's entertainment.
That's true.
At the end of the day it's
Yeah.
entertainment.
Very well said, Johnny. Very well said. Drew, come on in, bro.
Johnny, you mentioned Aaliyah, that you performed with Aaliyah on tour. Was you with her? Did you perform with her the year she tragically passed? Was you on tour then
No,
with Aaliyah?
I had been away from her about, I'm going to say, about a year. I was Aaliyah's musical director and keyboard player.
Oh, okay.
um
Okay.
I had been off of that tour for maybe about a year.
Mhm.
And when the tragic thing happened. Yeah,
Right,
but I
Mm,
right.
really enjoyed working with Lily. She was really, really cool. She was
cool.
really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Drew. Come on in, Russell.
Yes. Johnny, I know you said music, you've done music all your life. That's all you've ever done. If you
Yes.
weren't in music, what do you think you would be doing today?
Well,
Wow.
my original the original thing that I did early on, I was an artist. I painted and I drew. That was my
Mm.
major. That's what I did, but I haven't done that in years. But that was my major when I was in junior high school, and I switched over in high school to music.
Oh, okay. Good
I
Okay.
question, Drew.
would have probably been doing that.
Good
You
question,
know.
Russell. Good question. Well, look, my
Matter of
brother,
fact,
as they say, all good things must come to an end, and certainly, as much as we regret this, but we're coming up on closing here, so I'm gonna go around the room. We're gonna say our goodbyes, and we're gonna have you say some final comments, if you will, and we're gonna move on from that point. Drew, you want to start us off, please?
Yes, sir. Johnny, thank you so very much for joining us and sharing some of your musical expertise. Very much appreciate it. Look forward to having you back soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Russell.
Yes, Johnny. I also thank you for sharing, your incredible journey with us. And I wish you well and all your endeavors and all that you continue to do. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, my brother, I don't think it's been as painful as you thought it was. As it was
Well,
going.
let me let me say this: the weight has just been lifted. The weight has just been lifted because I know I'm done. So, you know, now I feel pretty good about such and such and what have you. When you all were asking about certain things, I was saying, man, maybe I should have did this or I should have had that. When he asked me about, Babyface, I still have my Babyface tour jacket. When I did the Babyface tour, I was like, man, I
Okay,
should have showed him my tour jacket, or just just things that I'm thinking to do in terms of lifting somebody up, or getting somebody to feel good about moving forward. You know.
got you, got you.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and I'm sure that I can speak for Drew and Russell Spirit, that your answers and experiences that you've shared with us this evening have been off
Mhm.
the wall. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
I
That's the
appreciate
purpose of this show. What we're not looking to badmouth anybody or anything. We want to find out, or we want to hear the stories behind the curtains. That's what we want to hear. And it's not the bad stuff. We're not really interested in that because anybody can badmouth anybody. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But the
Yeah.
things that you shared about, and I'm sure that because I saw Drew's eyebrows when he said that he didn't know that you were the director, music director for Aaliyah. He didn't know that. But now he's found out something that, now he can attach that to when he talks about Johnny Croom. You know what I mean? And Russell, the same way. We're finding out different things that you're not. Here's what I say. what you and anybody bring to the table, you're not going to find it on the back of an album or inside of a CD sleeve.
Yes,
This
sir.
is stuff that you lived, you breathed, you were there, you saw it, you touched it, and it's just great things that that we want to know about, that we want to hear. And I'm not the only one. I mean, I know that Drew, Restful, and the listening audience and watching audience wants the values this as a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to hear the backstories of what's going on.
Yes.
And we certainly do appreciate you, my brother. Certainly do.
Yes.
My
Got
pleasure.
Johnny, you got
Thank
any
you all
closing
so
remarks?
much. I thank you guys so much for inviting me, for you guys being so kind. Um, I just appreciate you all getting me through all of this because I don't want to say anything crazy, but I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, we would. I'm sure that I can speak on behalf of Drew and Restful and the other members that are here. We would love to have you on again. We'd love to have you because we're just barely scratching the surface. Because with all of these legends that you rub elbows with, there's some stories that you can tell us. And again, in the same vein that you're talking about tonight, we're not looking for dirt. We're not looking for anything, but there's certain things that I know that you can share with us that would be just like great information. You know what I mean? So we would definitely love to have you come on again.
Well, that would be great because there are a lot of stories that we can get into. Some of the a lot of people don't know. I'll give you this little tidbit bit that Tank. You all are familiar with the artist Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yes.
Tank used to sing back. He used to sing background vocals for Aaliyah. That's
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wow.
so yeah. So it's things like that. When he was a kid,
Hmm.
I told him when he was a kid that he was going to be huge, just
Okay.
like
Oh,
the
wow.
things that he were doing and the songs that he were writing in the tour bus. When we were out on tour, when we were on tour in the bus and what have you, this guy he was writing some crazy stuff. Matter of fact, I haven't even heard the level of songs that he was doing back then. I haven't really even heard that today because he writes really for the public. You
Okay.
have to write for the culture. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
he's really deep off. He's a really really good writer, really good
That's
singer.
awesome. That's awesome.
Hmm.
That's awesome. Well, the next time you come back, you can wear your baby face jacket. You know what I'm saying?
I can just show you
You
some of
can wear,
those things. We
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah,
older things.
yeah.
Things from back in the
Okay.
day. Things from today.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad that you joined us. And I'm going to call this guy the legend, legendary Johnnie Croom. I call him the quiet giant of Philadelphia. We're so glad that he was here. Keep your radio set for WPPM 106.5 FM from 10 o'clock tonight until 2 a.m. I'll be playing the oldies for you. What a great way to bring in a Saturday morning. To Robin, Kim Thomas, Evelyn, Sandman, and every Lady D, everybody out there watching. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep watching us, if you will. Don't forget this coming Wednesday on Salt Pepper Memories, my TV show, is the Cammy Awards, when my TV show won the famous Cammy Awards. Be sure to tune in. Thursday night, I will be returning back to rememberthenradio.com from 8 until 12. Next Friday, right here, we will hear one local jock who has been around for a long time. His name is Sam, the Golden Oldies Man. He's going to be our guest next Friday night here. One thing I want to say to you guys before you leave, something new that I'm developing and coming up. It's going to branch out. It's going to hit in November. It's called Edutainment 101. And that's all I'm going to tell you about. It's a brand new show that I've put together, and I'm going to be sponsoring it. Edutainment 101. You'll hear more about it on Thursday night, next Friday. Keep the dial set. Thank you guys so much. Have a great, great weekend. Johnny, love you much, my brother. We'll
You as
talk
well,
soon.
sir.
Drew, thank you. Restful, take care. Everybody have a great weekend. We're leaving you, coming back with our music, baby. Let's go out the way we came
Okay.
everybody have a great weekend. Take care. Love you all.
Take care.